Hello, everyone. Shay's Creations here. It is midnight. Midnight, boys and girls. Now, y'all know. Let me get a little piece of my pasta meal. Woo! Mmm. That's a good. Mmm. 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 Oh my goodness. Mmm. I absolutely only had eggs yesterday in the morning, early in the morning, but I um I just woke up a short while ago and I had two very deep phone calls. So I wasn't able to do much of anything. And the only thing I wanted was to prepare myself a meal. But I had planned this meal for a while, but I didn't really know how I was going to make it. I just knew the flavors, the taste, and what I wanted in the pot. So I ended up making that about maybe an hour ago. If you saw my other video, which I'm not sure if you saw, but anyway, I want to say thank you. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for bringing me into your home. I am going to ah, master everything I'm going for. Okay. Now, I was up yesterday quite early. I did mention it's after midnight. Okay. I grind all hours of the day. So I was up yesterday and I did my Facebook Live. I loved my Facebook Live, by the way. I loved my Facebook Live. I felt so freaking amazing. But when I finished my Facebook Live, I was sitting down and I was, researching some stuff, whatever. And the next, I got a little bit, I don't know, should I say, discombobulated, and I started to notice some bipolar symptoms or whatever. So I did take notice, and I'm like, uh-oh. Mm-mm. So the doorbell rang, but when the doorbell rang, of course, I wasn't expecting anyone, and normally my doorbell does not ring. But then the person said, boom, 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 boom. So I got afraid. But the reason why I got afraid was because prior to that, within a few seconds, I felt a little bit of uneasiness. And for the last 2 days, I did take my mother to the supermarket. You saw that in the video, but I'm talking for myself. And the last 2 days, I struggled with going outside for myself. I wanted to actually go. I have this card with a little bit of blessings on it, and I wanted to go pick up, a small gift for someone and wrap it up and whatever. And I tried to do that today as well, but I said I was going to put my clothes on. I was going to go. I was going to walk. I was going to record. I was going to do everything. The plan, the action, mapping it out, I had no problem with that. Executing it was a problem. So I realized my struggle with going out there was going to be for yesterday as well. So I said, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. Anyway, when I went to the door, normally I would go to the door and probably just open it, but something made me, oh, and like Amazon. So I'm like, and I have told my daughter quite often, I need you to stop ordering packages here because sometimes I'm sleeping when they knock on the door or whatever the case may be, and I don't want them stolen and I have to hear, you couldn't even get my package. Anyway, I got the package, and when I got the package, I didn't order anything from Amazon. So at that moment, I had a feeling as if someone sent me something that would hurt me. So I took the package and I just put it down. I didn't even, focus on it. I put it down and I sat down, and the next thing the phone rang and I'm, talking or whatever. And then I ended up sitting down, and next thing I was asleep. But then when I woke up, I woke up to two phones ringing, my Facebook Messenger and then my house phone. But I was so, out of it, I really couldn't, comprehend what was going on. But then when I woke up and I did return one of the calls, I was like, I got a package today. And, I was kind of thinking somebody was sending me something, possibly a bag of rats, and I'm on the phone chatting it up, and then something said, go to the package. So I went to the package, And then I picked up the package and I'm looking, I said, nobody could send me anything like that from Amazon. And it's not my package because I didn't order anything. So then I'm on the phone talking to someone, and then I said, let me see if this somebody else's package. And then I looked and I said, oh, that's my Christmas gift. And then all of a sudden, I started, feeling better, and the paranoia went away and stuff like that. I said, that's someone from YouTube. That's addressed to Shay. So I felt so good. And then, oh, you got it. Yes. And so then I took it and I put it where my Christmas tree is, because y'all know I'm going to do a video on Christmas. So I put it over there, but I brought it here to say thank you, because I know someone's watching. But I do want to say, I want to give it to you real now. I have already been trying to figure out what this is inside of this right here. But I'm going to tell you something. For a long time, I have been emotionally going through a roller coaster, trying to fit in with. Oh my goodness. I was sitting, oh my goodness, you can't believe what happened to me. I got a blessing of some sort. I'm not going to say what. And then I said, I have to bless someone because I got a blessing. And now I'm sitting here and I just noticed an initial, and then I seen a letter next to it, and I'm like, and I'm looking, and I got a careless mind, boys and girls, and this room is completely filled with paper. But I didn't want to ask this person for their address so I can send them a kindness gift. Their address is in front of me. Oh my goodness. Sometimes things happen for a reason, but you may not notice my camera is slightly different from where it normally is, which means it was purposely there because that's how I got to see the address right there. So I will be putting a kindness card in the mail for someone. It's after midnight, so I can go to the mailbox after midnight. But anyway, I have been in a situation where for quite some time, I have known that whatever I wanted to do had to be inside of this home. I spoke to my therapist, spoke to my psychiatrist. I said I always wanted to work for myself. I always wanted to help people, but I don't want to have to leave my home to do it because I struggle. And just say if I was in an office working somewhere and the phone rang, a few times, they would hear some nice and some untidy words because I can't constantly hear the phone ringing. I get tired. And one of the things that drives me crazy is Facebook, because when you hear that ding 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 for messages, I literally have to say to people sometime, okay, I got it, how are you doing, are you okay, did you, all of this, just, so it is what it is. And then yesterday I was sitting down right here and I went to ChatGPT and I said, how can I go about becoming a life coach, because that's what I truly believe is destined for me. And then ChatGPT types back, you're already a life coach. What you do with your videos and what you do with your community, you're a life coach. And then I'm sitting here like, but most life coaches talk about, who's that? Most life coaches talk about work, psychiatry, those type of things. And I'm looking at my therapist, who I love, and I said, but when I do my videos, I talk about everything. And so and it says, because you are your niche. And I cannot imagine ChatGPT telling me that when some stranger said to me a long time ago that you have already acquired your niche and that you're going to, and I'm like, I had never, no matter how many times I heard niche, I never understood what it truly meant. And then to read Chat GBT tell me that I am my niche. Bah! What? Damn, these hot flashes. Whew. Mm. So I'm sitting here like, oh my goodness. And then, uh, uh, and then I'm sitting here like, the screen is, going up, whatever, whatever. And a matter of fact, let me see. Let me see. It said, this is exactly how your business was meant to flow. Your cooking, your counseling, your crafting, your storytelling, your teaching, your laughing, and your living. And all of that makes me my niche. And I never, ever understood that. But I'm going to tell you something. I was sitting here and the phone rang, and someone, a guy, was talking to me after seeing a Facebook video about relationships and things like that, and said, there's no way he could ever cheat on a woman that he loves. And I have learned one thing: to listen. To listen. So I'm listening, and I'm like, and he said, I know a lot of guys, and women think that old guys would cheat, and and I can't do that. And he said, if you look at someone and you love them and in their eyes, and he's going into full detail about the fact that he can't cheat on a woman. But I'm not in a state of mind to ask a question, meaning, did I give you the impression that I believe all men would cheat? Because I am a firm believer not all men would cheat. I'm I'm fully aware of that. I know that. A man with a moral compass is not cheating on the woman that he loves. He can't hurt her that way. A moral compass. That's it. So I was having a conversation, and I'm listening and everything, and I'm feeling blessed. And I'm like, wow, So I told him, I said, you know what? One of the things that I believe in is everyone having a voice, everyone having an opinion. But I am a firm believer that there are some good men in our world. So it was nice. And then we got to talking about the fact that even though he is an adult, he did not know how to do a few things when it comes to taking care of personal hygiene. Again, I know I touch base on a few things in my videos, and I'm thankful. And I did say to him, I truly understand. But I'm going to tell you, from a person that comes from some different heritages, there are things that we grow with that we know. So when we are amongst different company, to where the basics of foundation people don't know, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't taught to them. But I'm going to tell you how I feel. Once you are about 8 years old, you know how to go into the bathroom and do whatever it is you need to do. Now, a female will need someone to teach her about the Kotex and tampons and that type of thing. But a 2-year-old knows to squeeze the bottle of soap and wash their hands. So when you say, as an adult, some things you did not know, I rock with you. I rock with you. But during another phone call, someone who watches my videos mentioned, and this was a phone call yesterday, mentioned that this about their man. And I had to let her know, I'm not doing the excuses. I'm not doing the excuses. Your man comes from a different background where he grew up understanding that this is. So then she understood why he knew this, and this, because it is what it is. Now, I'm going to keep it real funky. I got a phone call, and the person said, don't be worried about that person's age because, he could be, and all this. And I'm like, and I'm listening. So I'm like, and I'm very observant. I'm very observant. So I'm listening, and I went to sleep and woke up and I thought about it. And I said, you know what? I love the fact that people feel that they can trust me with their thoughts because I like everybody's opinion because you never know whose might help me. Never know whose might help me. Then I returned a call back to my mother. And I'm talking to my mother about a lot of people. Coral, MJ, Beverly, all of y'all I'm on the phone talking to my mother about. So, and even Tina. I was talking to my mother about Tina. I talked to my mother about Tina. So then it got to the point where a topic came up that recently happened in my life. And I know my mother is feeling a certain type of way, whether she say it or not, because she happens to love this person. And I had to say, I know how you feel, and I'm sorry you witnessed what I did, but I had to do it. I had to do it. There was no way around it. And then I said, and then you have the nerve to act like you didn't play a part in what I had to do. And then she's like, I said, you made me how I am. You know I'm not letting nobody walk in my life and stomp on me and just walk out like I was invisible. You know I wasn't gonna do that. You knew it. You know you just didn't know when. So then next you know the whole dynamics changed because and she was like, you know if I know what you would have did. Maybe not what I did, but you would have stamped that ass. So then the whole conversation got different. So sometimes you don't have to say to a person, I wish you didn't do this. No, you wish he didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I told my mother, I said, I am suffering. I am suffering in ways you will never know because I had to do what I had to do because of what was done to other people. But in my situation, it has come to my full understanding that I was not in any situation like those other ones. It did not matter. Someone has to break the cycle. Someone has to stand firm, and someone has to be the sounding board for those who choose not to, whatever. So there goes that. I did tell my mother, I'm so sorry that she has to be alive to witness some of the things that I'm going to do because I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Somebody's going to try me again. I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry. But my blessing for yesterday was that I had about 4 phone calls. I was in full mode as if I was paid on the clock making a check. And I also said, all my life, I didn't want to be in a situation where I had to go in the office and sit down, give someone an hour of my time, and then have them leave. There are times that I went to my psychiatrist and he let me lay down and sleep, whatever my head was going, don't matter what it was. But there are times you might need 5 more minutes, just to get something understood. You may want to ask a question, whatever the case may be. So without going too much in detail, I've learned a lot about YouTube. I learned about what is going to tick, what's going to get me my money, everything. But I have to be slow and steady. So I just need y'all to understand my platform is for me to help other people. I'm not, unless I am forced to, going to monetize anything outside of my shirts. I will be monetizing my shirts. I need a steady income. I need a flow of cash. I need to build my whatever. I have absolutely nothing. And I don't like the fact that everything I own, everything I have, everything that belongs to me belongs partially to other people. Without going too far into those things, I don't like it. It will never sit right with me because I want to be a productive part of society. So, yesterday during one of the calls that I got, I actually felt like I was clocked in, and I felt like I needed to have my little book and write down and take notes and things, and I felt my role in society. I felt the part that I play in life. But I sat down and I was thinking, everything that I've been building is right around me. It's right around me. Every single thing. I love my home. I love my YouTube channel. I love what I bring to the table. I love the fact that I love to learn. I love the fact that I love to help people. But I don't want to do everything for money. I don't want to do everything for money. So now here goes what really means the most to me. I didn't realize because I unmonetized Facebook because I felt like I was begging. And then when I mentioned it in ChatGPT said, "You're not begging. You're actually letting the platform pay you for what you're doing for your community." And then I was conversating with someone else yesterday, and we already been through this many moons ago because I could be hungry, I could be you need, and I won't say anything to anyone because I don't want to be begging. And then yesterday, two people said to me, "You don't beg." And I'm like, "I hope I don't." And then one person said to me, "Well, actually, I hope you don't get upset, but you do beg." And I'm like, and my world came down. And I'm like, huh? And he said, "Yeah, you beg for company, companionship. You want someone to spend time with you. You just don't want to have sex." And I was so thankful that a man could say this to me because it was the second man who said it to me. Yes, the second man who said it to me. You don't want a man to have sex with. You want a companion. And it's the truth. Now, getting on to that, I have no problem having sex. I'll turn a cartwheel around you if you really want to know. I might teach you something you never heard of. I just don't want to be with someone whose eye is on the cookie. There is so much around, so much to enjoy that should be a special time, a special moment in each other's life. But I can't be with someone who consumed everything around that. We got to do this first, and then we can do this, and this. And I was blessed to hear him say that. And I said to him, I absolutely agree. But on the same thing of that, I spoke to him about a particular person in my life that I had a connection with in every capacity. And he said, this would be the perfect person for you to be with if the person wasn't so much younger, because the youth in this person is why they feel so eager to, their mind is so on sex. And he said, when I was that age, all I wanted was BUSSY. He said, but now I'm 60 years old. I could have it, or I can't. I don't even want a woman. I just want a girl and a friend. So if he said, I don't even have to have sex anymore. So it makes perfect sense that at different stages of people's lives, they have reached a certain place. But I'm gonna keep it real and funky, boys and girls. I love sex, and I want to have sex for the rest of my life. I want to be 80 years old, bent over the dining table, just lifting up my dress, saying, "Baby, get it." But I don't want to be. I don't want to hear it. I have been in too many situations where people made me feel like I didn't bring anything to the table besides taking off my clothes. So, and I don't feel that way now, of course, because I'm not having sex with anyone. Absolutely not. I'm not doing any of that with anyone right now. My agenda is building my empire. That's it, building my empire. And when I was on Facebook, it said um, to do this like video thing, and you charge people to monetize to see this special room or whatever the case may be. I don't want to do that. I got this link yesterday on Facebook, and I feel like um, I'm a little confused, or whatever the case may be. I'm not really sure what I was reading, but it's basically saying to um, charge people. I don't want to do that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to end up not getting where I need to be because I don't want to charge people. But um, just say Tina wants to watch me. She's already watching me. And then if I want to show her a special greeting card, she got to pay me $5. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to do that. If someone is bringing me into their home, giving me an hour of their time, the platform should be paying me. The platform should be paying me. Now, if you feel that I'm hurting myself or whatever the case may be, let me know. But I also do understand, because I watched a video yesterday. It was a business video, and I was watching, and the woman clearly said, if you're doing YouTube, you have to remember that you are a business. You cannot do YouTube as something leisure, because actually YouTube is a business. You're going to end up paying taxes for the money you get. That money is going to end up replacing other things. So I am, thankful for that, because I have already realized a while ago. So when you see me on Facebook Live, I'm working. I'm absolutely working, because I have an agenda. I have an agenda. And now I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm like, okay, this is my job. This is my job. So I'm in the state of being where I don't want my phone to be accessible to people between the hours of, say, 9 and 5, because like now it's 12:34 at night. Most everyone I know is asleep. That one person may need me at 1 a.m. If you're not a scammer, you're not an abuser, you respect my time, ring my phone. If you need help, ring my phone. Don't expect me to leave my house. I'm not leaving my house. And don't tell me you didn't pay your light bill, so you need me to help you pay your light bill. That's not what you could call me for. But if you're having an emotional breakdown or whatever the case may be, and you just need me to listen to you, or for you it's whatever the case may be, just be careful of what you're asking of me, because I'm not going to sit on the phone and lie to you. I'm not going to play in a sandbox with you. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing any of that. If you expect me to be real with you, I'm going to be real with you. And that's it, because sometimes we need someone to be real with us. I'm thankful in ways that only some of you know. I was a freaking mess when I first came to YouTube. A mess. And there were people that were watching me on YouTube just to laugh at the destruction that my life was. But I hope that those people are still here to see what was and what is. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like something's on my tooth, or maybe it's the video. I don't know. But let me get some more of my noodles. Mmm. 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 Ah, this food is good. So sorry. Woo! It is amazing with $2 and $3 to put on your table. Oh my Goodness, it feels like it's going all down and it's just saying, love me. Huh? Oh, I love me some food, but I like good food. And I don't need a sirloin steak on my table to eat well. Absolutely not. Mm, mm. But boys and girls, I really wish I could go to someone that I really looked up to. But at a time in my life when I needed constructive criticism, that's not what I got. I got comments that mocked me at a state when I was mentally unwell. I got comments about I wouldn't do this. You know, I didn't understand what judgment was. Still completely don't know to a great stand right now because there are times when I feel like I'm just being honest about something and someone say, "Oh, you was judging it." Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry. Thank you for letting me know. I'll apologize. And when I apologize and I work my best to correct the behavior so I don't do it again. Especially if I know I hurt someone. This person kept doing and doing and doing and doing. And I got to the point where I said, you know what? This is not positive. And at the time, my whole entire everything was negative. I didn't know the difference because I had built up a whole life of mental illness to where I let mental illness dictate my entire life. So this person was having a ball with me, a ball with me. But then I woke up one day and I said, I just started cursing in myself out my head, and the beat people were going crazy. And I'm like, Shay, is this helpful to you? No. So then I would move and shake, and then I start washing dishes and cleaning the stove, and the stove was already clean and sweeping. And okay, do I really need to vacuum? Yeah, I'm vacuuming because I needed something to do to keep my mind quiet. So now I am beyond blessed because I didn't have any confrontation with said person, but I did mention that some of this stuff is not positive and I am already negative. I need positive. So I had to walk away. I walked away in kindness. In kindness, no conversation, no argument, definitely no disrespect. I wasn't doing that. I really, really loved the person. But yesterday I was talking to my mother and I said, I really wish the person could see me now. And I believe they have. But I also believe that what they would see now is not what they wanted to see. They wanted to see the part of me where they were able to laugh and possibly have conversations about me behind my back and stuff like that. And I don't knock anyone's hustle. If that's your hustle, that's your hustle. And I still love you and everything. Will always. But I told my mother yesterday, I really and truly wish I could go to this person, but sometimes you have to say, I meet you where you are, and that's it. And I realize the person is just not a positive person. No matter what they do for the community, who they help or whatever, they're not a positive person. And I left it at that. But yesterday I was sitting down and I called my daughter. And my daughter said she was at work, she'll call me back. I fell asleep, but my daughter never called me back. Now, I want to say I'm thankful. I'm thankful to a few of you because there was a time when that would have mentally pushed me somewhere. But a person teaches you a lot that you need to know in kindness. The call did not come back. They were asleep, they were tired, they were busy, they were washing the clothes. It doesn't matter. Don't call them back until they return your call. Bottom line, respect people's time. Respect people's time. I had to explain to someone yesterday that myself, I'm here. I'm not clocking a clock. My 24 hours belongs to me. But I don't want you to feel that you have the right to call me and say, I'm I'm coming. I'm on my way. This is what someone did to me. But they didn't call me and say I'm on my way. They text me on Facebook to say I'm on my way. You may be on your way, but you're not getting in here. Absolutely. What did you think I was doing in here? Never crossed your mind that I might be asleep? You don't know how many times my doorbell has rung right before I started to do my video. So now I can't cook because you just popped up on me and disturbed me. I'm giving you a few minutes of my time, but you're not acting like you understand what I just said. I was just about to record, and that's it. So I have already learned a valuable lesson by a video you might have seen a few weeks ago. I won't be recording in front of some people. Absolutely not, because I don't want anyone to see me on YouTube pick up my fists and bust somebody up in the mouth for coming up in here disrespecting me. I don't want that on YouTube. I don't want my friends, family, whoever to see me like that. And y'all already know I will deliver the package if I need to, but I'm not wearing these for anybody. So, but let's go there for a minute. A couple days ago, I was getting out the elevator. Now I'm in the elevator telling someone that I had given my neighbor a turkey and she cooked it or whatever. We're getting off the same floor. The neighbor you saw in the video, along with my other neighbor. And when I was in the hallway, the person said something, went inside her door, and it's like, boom, to the door. So, of course, I noticed that whatever happened was, and all I could do was laugh, and then I started walking down the hallway. And then when I was walking in the hallway, the person opened up their door, came out the door, and said, fuck you, you hoe. That's why you got AIDS, because we slept with the same man. And so the first thing I did was start my YouTube. And then I put the camera right here to capture her on camera. And then I stopped. But then I realized I was a long way from said person. So I stopped. And when I stopped, you hear the keys open the door and ran back in the house. Now, there was a time in the past that this person violated me, and I should have followed suit and stayed where I was at, but I was in here and my phone rang. Hello, and I said the person's name. And this person that you saw rifling through my groceries absolutely knew who the person was because I said the name, but I didn't know that they knew the name, and no one knew that this person was my person because I don't play out in the street and all that other stuff. So this person saw said person outside and said, oh my God, did you know she was sick? And she's on Social Security, and if you give her any money, she's gonna get in trouble. I mean, ran it down. And this person didn't know anything about my financial anything. Ha! Woo! He was a good friend. Are you telling me? What? And I'm like, what? What? And so I asked him to describe the person. And he described the person. So, of course, I knew who it was, but I also knew who it was because there was no one else around. So I'm like, where? And I'm not outside, and no one, and I'm like, but clearly he felt if he had given me, a meal or anything, he would have caused me to lose my home. So he really, really, really stayed away from me for like 6 whole months, called me every day, but he would not step foot in this apartment. So I never addressed, even all now, I never addressed what she did to me. The only thing I did was kept my distance. And then one day she came knocking and knocking, knocking. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. I apologize. I really need you to be my friend. And I didn't want to play in the sandbox because that's how you get people to say, well, she said this and she said this. I don't have time for that, boys and girls. No way. I didn't have time for that. So I opened the door in kindness and I said, can you please get the F away from my door before I split your motherfucking face open? You and I are not friends. Whatever it is you're sorry for, take it down the hall. I said, but get the fuck away from my door before I split your motherfucking face open. Plain and simple. Close my door. And then I didn't slam it. I closed it. But I was there. I was there. So I had to open the door because the knocking and knocking and knocking just took me and I was there. And then when I said, and closed the door, she banged on the door and said, that's why your mother's a slut. And I'm going to tell you something, boys and girls. I teach my daughter all the time. I don't care where you are. If someone says your mother's a four-legged dog or whatever, you say my mother's the best four-legged dog you're going to find and keep walking. Never let someone trigger you by your mother. Those are triggers. They will get you in here. You know what I'm saying? You will be wearing bracelets that you can't detach. So when she said that, I completely went freaking bonkers because I was already there. I was about to tip my edge because, for one, I never wanted her to know that I knew she carried news from my apartment. And that's a red flag for me right there. Red flag for me. So I opened up the door and I chased her all the way. I was going to... But once she got to the door, the camera was there. And that's what saved her. That's exactly what saved her. That camera in the hallway. You not capture me on camera, boy. You're gonna get me on camera. You are not gonna get me on camera. Absolutely not. Nah, I'm not that person. In this hallway, I will clean your whistle. I will stomp a mud hole in you in that hallway. I'm not doing it on camera. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not me. I know enough to know that when you walk out your front door, somebody could be recording you. You don't even have to see them. Someone's laundromat camera, somebody's street light camera, somebody's house camera, someone's door camera. It don't matter. You walk out your door, you better act like somebody's recording you because you could get into anything, and these cameras could save your life. You know, they could show somebody walking behind you with a black hoodie on and then just pull out something and bop you upside the head, or it could capture you breaking into somebody's car. I mean, somebody could put you on the neighborhood and say, always. And I tell anybody, when I step out my front door, I behave like I'm on camera because you just don't know. And 9 times out of 10, anybody see me with my face on my shirt, on my vehicle. You know, I'm everywhere. So I let it go, and I'm gonna continue to let it go. But I said to myself, people like to put you in a situation, but when I was talking to someone on the phone, he said, you should not be angry about anything that you did because someone made you do it. And I said, I don't feel angry about anything I did. And I feel kind of blessed. I feel blessed in ways you wouldn't believe because it helped me know, and it gave me so much of my power back to where I started feeling that I could do my Facebook Lives. I used to be nervous doing my Facebook Lives. Now I look forward to doing my Facebook Lives because my Facebook Lives, being that they are live, are helping me get to where I want to be. I have always wanted to be in other people's homes. I just wanted to come in through my own home. But boys and girls, let me tell you something. I was talking to my mom yesterday. I said, Mom, I absolutely know how it feels when people say I met someone that I feel I would be able to marry. I told her yesterday, and she said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Absolutely. Absolutely." I said, "It just happened that at this moment in life, I'm concerned about my future. I'm concerned about my future. And that's all I can think about right now is my future." I said, "But I absolutely set eyes on someone that I could see me marrying, regardless, older, younger, don't matter. I could actually see me married." And I couldn't believe, I always wanted my mother to see me in love. And I'm thankful that she saw me in love, even though it didn't work out. But I'm a firm believer a person can come into your life for a reason and a season. But like I had to explain to my mother, which was really hard to do, but she understood. This person and I together, the way he's giving and he's always trying to do this, and he between the both of us together would have made an impact on our community. And that's what I was trying to get him done. I even said it to him so many times, the magic you and I could bring together to our communities. But it is what it is. And I will always be thankful. But I know what it is to be fearful of taking a step that will get you what you want, and you're worried about what you would lose. But we all have to get to a point to realize we are going to lose something and someone, no matter what we do. No matter what we do. Yesterday in one of the groups, a person's parent passed away, and they did not. Now, I want to make it clear, I don't have a father. I don't remember my father. I was a baby when he died. So I don't want anyone to look at me and say, you don't understand. I do understand. I still cry because I don't have a father. And I curse my father out all the time for being a drunk and a fucking drug addict. Because you did that knowing you had children. So there goes to that. That's why you will never get me to respect a drunk or a drug addict who's producing children in the world. Never. I don't care what you say. Don't look for me to have sympathy. I don't have any, because you know right from wrong. If you have a habit, that's fine. Have your habit. I may have a habit, but I'm not going to produce any children with a habit. Absolutely not. Nobody wants to be born to a drug addict or a drunk. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nobody. You can ask anybody who has a parent that's a drunk. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm being real, because my father actually did something that took him away from his children. I don't remember my father. And one of my uncles was a movie star. Some of y'all may know on Facebook, and I don't want to do too much, y'all know who my family members are. But I lost out on a whole big opportunity where I could have been on TV, and it's something I always wanted to do, be on TV, because my father was a drunk and a drug addict. So, and I still believe, even though I never had a father, I still believe I would have loved my father. My father in the afterlife was in this house. So, I know, and I always curse him out. Sometimes when I go through things and with men, and I'm like, you're not even here to tell me what I should do. And, you never drape the man up and push him against the wall and buck him up a little bit. So I do know what it is, but I am blessed beyond words to still have my mother. Blessed beyond words to still have my mother and be able to talk to my mother about things that a lot of people can't talk to their mothers about. But yesterday, someone's parent passed away, and she went to the a place and got a coffin, and she buried her father. She buried her father for less than $2,500. And she came on the group, and she was saying, and she said she doesn't want anyone to feel as if she didn't love her father, but she respected her father, and he would never have wanted her to spend thousands and thousands and thousands. She even went somewhere like a frugal place and bought something flat and just put it on. She didn't go to a big cemetery. She went to like some type of like a family owned thing. But basically, she did a frugal funeral. Another person chimed in. Their parent had passed away, and prior to their parent passing away, they asked them, please don't do no big funeral, whatever the case may be. And she cremated, the family member, and that was it. But when I say what I'm saying, is that I lost my brother. I went through a hard 2 years, and that was really bad because I one of the hardest things that almost took me through the biggest way no one has ever heard me say it is when I had to go through the cemetery walking on other people's graves. I don't know what anyone thinks walking on a grave to get to your grave. That almost sent me to my grave. So I won't be going to a grave site anymore. Absolutely. I don't care who you are. Don't even ask me. I'm not going. Because what I came home to, I couldn't manage on my own. And my neighbor had to knock on the door, to calm me down and everything. I was a complete wreck for 2 complete years. But I kid you not, my brother whispered in this ear, please don't cry. And I stopped crying. So it was great. And I sit in here sometimes and I talk to my brother like he's here, and I'm like, you better get this man, you bet, you see what he's doing to me, so in that way I am thankful because I know that my brother has been in my life, and also the person was connected to my brother as well. So I'm thankful. So I believe every day I have to keep my brother with me by basically remembering who he was and who he is now, and that is an angel in my life. So he's right there on my wall. He's in the living room. I will walk in my room just at any point in time and put my hand on brother's picture and say good morning and tell him that I love him and I know he's good and everything. You know what I'm saying? So it is what we have to do. But I already told my daughter, I don't want you going buy me no casket. You just give me a brown box, throw me in there, put me on the ground, go home and have a party. I don't want no, they're crying and all that other stuff. I don't want any of that. But I am thankful for one thing, to have my mother. I was watching a video of this lady and this man, and both of them are gone now. And the lady was saying how she missed her parents and stuff like that. And honey, I am rocking with you because I miss my father too. Although I don't remember him, I can't even identify him if I seen him on, anything. Have no, there is nothing. But the lady showed the video and everything like that. And then I said to her, and I didn't want to say it, but I had to say it because of the way she was making herself feel. And I had said to her, I said, Miss, I mean no disrespect, I don't have a father. Basically, never had one. And I explained her my story. I said, you had your father in your life for X amount of years. What would help you now is to remember him in some of those times rather in the time of you not having him, because it diminishes what you actually did have, and it changes from you counting your blessings to something else. And that woman and a few other people came to me and told me that that was beautiful. And the lady told me, she said, I actually needed to hear that. And the fact that I typed it, she can always go back and read it. But I don't want anyone to feel that however you grieve is not okay. Everybody grieves in their own way. But we always want to remember what we had. What we had. I was talking to Coral, and she mentioned that she noticed something with me and my mother. And I absolutely am blessed that she was able to notice how much I love my mother. I went through a hard 3 years when I could not speak to my mother. I couldn't speak to my mother because I was very hurt about something. But the one thing I was not going to do is disrespect my mother. Mm-mm. No, my mother's West Indian. Bottom line, she'd have buck out my teeth. But I couldn't do that. But my therapist told me one day, he said, you need to go to your mother and you need to talk to her, because if you don't and something happens, you're never going to be able to forgive yourself. So that day, I went to my mother's house, rang the door, and my brother opened the door and he let me in. I said hi. My mother was washing dishes. I sat down and started watching TV. Nothing, no words, watch TV. A few minutes later, I said, see you later. And I went home. And I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried because I knew that my therapist was right. Now, I can tell you something that you may not believe. And I may be wrong. I may be wrong. And if I do if I ever turn around and I am wrong, you'll know because I'll be right here on YouTube letting the world see. If my mother was to pass away tomorrow, I would not be wallowing in tears. I would not be, oh, I wish, wish, wish. Nope. Because I am taking every opportunity now to spend time with my mother, even if it's just to take her to the supermarket and drop her back home. Even if it's just to buy her a bubble gum and put it on her table. I am going to live in action to show my mother how much I love her. I will not be that person wallowing and no, I'm not. And you want to know why? It's not because of anything anyone would think of. My mother would not want to watch me from heaven removing myself from living because she's no longer here. She served her purpose here. Now she has to serve her purpose there. And I don't know who has ever been in harm's way enough to have closed their eyes and see what is above there. But I saw. I am eager to see the other side because what I saw, the light and all of this whiteness and this purity and this cleanliness and this feeling of love and welcoming, I am ready for it. Ready for it. But a woman said yesterday in the same group with the passing and all that other stuff, she said when her mother passed away, she didn't grieve because her mother was able to see her son again because her brother had passed away. Now, you tell me that that was not a woman that needed someone to hug her. What what on earth are we doing to ourselves with what we are training our minds to think? What that woman did was saved herself and her sanity. I literally know people in person, real life, that can't function because someone passed away. Baby, that's not supposed to happen. We have to live. We still have to live. We have to live. And it is so sad. That's why I said I want to own property. I want to be somewhere where there are younger people and there are seniors. Younger people that will knock on the door and see Mrs. Whoever. And you want some tea? Have a moment, sit down for 30 minutes, break tea with someone, break a meal with someone. Don't always be about, I don't want to do this, I don't, you may impose, you may be, disturbing. No, sometimes it takes 5 split minutes to show kindness. And that's why some of the things that I see people go through make me sad. You know what I'm saying? And I cry a lot because of what I see people do. But like I said, I was on the phone talking to my mother yesterday, and I'm talking about everybody, and we just running over this stuff and stuff like that. And I told her, I do happen to have a feeling of kindness towards someone, but this same person would bring me to my demise because their head is not where mine is. So just you know what you need to do? Stay away. I am going to stay away. I'm going to stay. I'm going to offer what I can offer from a distance. If they want it, they want it. If they don't, they don't. The bottom line is I have to put down my boundaries. I'm going to accept everyone else's boundaries in love, honor, and respect. But at the same token, I am not going to let anyone think they can make me do something that I'm not ready to do. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I don't mean, and I mean, I mean, I want to go to the stove and cook. So I'm not ready for a husband because guess what? My husband's gonna cook for me. Absolutely. Before he leave that door at 7 o'clock to go to his house, because I'm not living with a man. Now I'm not gonna hitch my wagon to anyone. Or, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want anyone facing me at night snoring and putting all that air in my room. You're not passing gas around me and I lift the sheet and smell you. I'm not doing none of that. There's a lot of things that I miss about being that I would miss about being single. And I tell you no lie, boys and girls, these pills that I'm taking, these things I've been showing you, huh? I have no gas whatsoever. And guess what I did? Now, I went to a site and I did a order. I ordered about maybe 8 or 9 bottles of those pills. But I used a firm because I have no money. So I used a firm to get it. And the good thing is, although a firm put $10 interest on it and a 12-month payment, we already know it's not going to take me 12 months to pay less than $100 on something. So I used a firm, but I did not want to wake up any day without those pills because now I can eat pasta, boys and girls. I can eat my pasta. I can drink some cream and and stuff like that. I've had 2 cups of coffee without any problems. And then what is amazing is how my stomach feels. Those and all that going running back. I have not had any of those issues. But I ordered about 8 bottles because I'm going to give away 2. I'm going to give away 2 because there are 2 people that are dealing with the same issue, and both of them are related to me, and one of them is constantly going to the bathroom, having accidents, and stuff like that. So I picked up about 8 or 9 bottles. So I'm going to give away 2, but that's it. But I'm going to tell you something. This video is 1 hour and 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So I reached my quota for today on this video. But I'm going to tell you something else. I'm working on my business. And YouTube is my business. So 9 times out of 10, going forward, there will be 1 hour videos. And that's because I'm working on my business. So if you know anything about that, then look forward to my videos being at least an hour. I wasn't watching the clock, but I'm going to clock off now. Love you all. Bye-bye.